Okay guys, for today we're going to finish chapter 9. It was a long one. So we finished the chapter up today. We start on page 149. I hope you read it through once yourself. I like you to do that so that you can hear after you've read it how some of the harder words are pronounced. See how you did. Where we left off was yesterday they finally figured it out that it is true that Michelangelo did the angel. And that's where we pretty much left it. Now what, right? Now that the secret's out, now what? So started on page 149, please track with me. Now, a boy who cheats at cards should be able to answer that. Jamie's face broke into a huge grin. Bribery? He exclaimed. You're going to bribe us? Hallelujah! Tell me. I'm ready. What's the deal? So if you remember, we ended with them saying to Mrs. Frankweiler, how do you know we're going to keep your secret? Okay. I laughed. The deal is this. You give me the details of your running away and I'll give you the sketch. Jamie gasped. That doesn't sound like bribery. That doesn't even sound like you, Mrs. Frankweiler. You're smarter than that. How do you know that I won't slip about your secret as I did about the museum? That boy really amused me. You're right, Jamie. I'm smarter than that. I've got a method to keep you slip-proof about the sketch. What's that? I'm not going to give you the sketch outright. I'm going to leave it to you in my will. You won't tell my secret because if you do, I'll write you out of my will. You would lose all that money. You said that the sketch was worth quite a boodle, so you're going to be very good about keeping this secret. Claudia will keep quiet for a different reason. Her reason happens to be the same as mine. Which is what? Jamie asked. Simply because it's a secret. It will enable her to return to Greenwich different. See how it's in slanted handwriting? Different. Claudia looked at Jamie and nodded. Something I had just said made sense. I continued. Returning with a secret is what she really wants. Angel had a secret, and that made her exciting, important. Claudia doesn't want adventure. She likes baths and feeling comfortable too, much for that kind of thing. Secrets are the kind of adventure she needs. Secrets are safe, and they do much to make you different. On the inside, where it counts. I won't actually be getting a secret from you. I'll be getting details. I'm a collector of all kinds of things besides art, I said, pointing to my files. If all those files are secrets, and if secrets make you different on the inside, then your insides, Mrs. Frankweiler, must be the most mixed up, the most different insides I've ever seen. Or any doctor has ever seen either. I grinned. There's a lifetime of secrets in those files, but there's also just a lot of newspaper clippings. Junk. It's a hodgepodge. Like my art collection. Now you'll tell me all about your running away, and I'll add that to my files. Whereas Jamie's excitement bubbled out of him in grins and spurts of jittering around the room, Claudia's excitement flowed, not bubbled. I could see that she was a little surprised. She had known that Angel would have the answer, but she had expected it to be a loud bang, not a quiet soaking in. Of course, secrets make a difference. That's why planning the runaway had been such fun. It was a secret, and hiding in the museum had been a secret. But they weren't permanent. They had to come to an end. Angel wouldn't. She could carry the secret of Angel inside her for 20 years just as I had. Now she wouldn't have to be a heroine when she returned home, except to herself. And now she knew something about secrets that she hadn't known before. I could tell that she felt happy. Happiness is excitement that has found a settling down place, but there is always a little corner that keeps flapping around. Claudia could have kept her doubts to herself, but she was an honest child, an honorable child. Mrs. Frankweiler, she said, swallowing hard, I really love the sketch. I really do. I love it. Just love, love, love it. But don't you think you ought to give it to the museum? They're just dying to find out whether the statue is real or not. Nonsense! What a conscience you suddenly have. I want to give it to you. In exchange, if you and Jamie want to give it to the museum after you inherit it, then you give it to the museum. I won't let the museum people near here. If I could keep them out of Connecticut altogether, I would. I don't want them to have it while I'm alive." Claudia wiped her forehead with the sleeve of her sweater and asked, "Why not?" "I've thought about that for a long time, and I've decided, why not? What they'll do is start investigating the authenticity of the sketch. They'll call in authorities from all over the world. They'll analyze the ink and the paper. They'll research all his illustrated notes and compare. In short, they'll make a science of it. Some will say yes, some will say no. Scholars will debate about it. They'll poll all the authorities, and probably the majority will agree that the note and the statue are really the work of Michelangelo. At least, that's what they should conclude. But some stubborn ones won't agree, and thereafter the statue and the sketch will appear in the books with a big question mark. The experts don't believe in coincidence as much as I do, and I don't want them to throw doubt on something that I've felt always and actually known for about 20 years. Claudia's eyes widened. "But Mrs. Frankweiler, if there is the slightest doubt that either the statue or the sketch is a forgery, don't you want to know? Don't you want the last little bit of doubt cleared up?" "No," I answered abruptly. "Why not?" "Because I'm 82 years old, that's why." "There now, Jamie, you see, I slipped too. Now I've told you how old I am." Jamie looked at his sister and asked, "What's that got to do with anything, Claude?" Claudia shrugged. "I'll tell you what it's got to do with it," I said. "I'm satisfied with my own research on the subject. I'm not in the mood to learn anything new." Claudia said, "But Mrs. Frankweiler, you should want to learn one new thing every day. We did even at the museum." "No," I answered, "I don't agree with that. I think you should learn, of course, and some days you must learn a great deal, but you should always have days when you allow what is already in you to swell up inside you until it touches everything, and you can feel it inside you. If you never take time out to let that happen, then you just accumulate facts, and they begin to rattle around inside you. You can make noise with them, but never really feel anything with them. It's hollow." Both children were quiet, and I continued. "I've gathered a lot of facts about Michelangelo and Angel, and I've let them grow inside me for a long time. Now I feel that I know. That's enough for that. But there is one thing that I'd like to experience. Not know, experience. And that one thing is impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Claudia said. She sounded to me exactly like a bad actress in a bad play. Unreal. "Claudia," I said patiently, "when one is 82 years old, one doesn't have to learn one new thing every day, and one knows that some things are impossible." "What would you like to experience that is impossible?" Jamie asked. "Right now, I'd like to know how your mother feels. You keep saying that she's frantic. Why do you want to feel frantic?" This came from Claudia. Now she sounded like the real Claudia Kincaid. "It's an experience I would like to have because it's part of a bigger experience I want." Claudia said, "You mean you'd like to be a mother?" Jamie leaned toward Claudia and whispered in the loudest, wettest whisper I've ever heard, "Of course that's impossible. Her husband is dead. You can't be a mother without a husband." Claudia poked Jamie. "Never call people dead. It makes others feel bad. Say deceased or passed away. Come now, children, put away the file. You must tell me all about your adventure. All about it. What you thought and what you said and how you managed to carry off the whole crazy caper." And that is the end of chapter 9. So do your best to use text evidence to answer the questions below, and we will start chapter 10, our last chapter, next week.